The morning sun poured through the tall windows of ABC's New York studio as the audience took their seats. The chatter was loud, the cameras hummed, and the red light above the lens blinked to life. The View was about to start, but today felt different. Producers whispered nervously in their headsets. Mark Wahlberg, known for his directness and composure, was moments away from stepping on set. Joy Behar shuffled through her notes, her expression sharp, already ready to poke and prod at whatever made good television. The applause sign lit up, and the familiar jingle echoed through the air. Whoopi Goldberg smiled at the crowd. "Welcome back to The View. Today, we're joined by actor, producer, and businessman, Mark Wahlberg." The audience clapped enthusiastically as Mark stepped onto the stage in a navy suit and crisp white shirt, his easy smile steady. He shook hands with Whoopi, nodded politely at Joy, and took his seat. The air was warm but tight. Whoopi began smoothly. "Mark, you've had quite the year, your new movie's out, your gym franchise is expanding, and fans are saying this might be one of your best performances yet. How are you feeling?" Mark leaned in, his Boston accent easy and calm. "I'm feeling good, Whoopi. I'm blessed to be doing what I love. I've got great people around me, great projects, can't ask for more." The conversation was flowing naturally, laughter from the audience breaking the tension. But everyone in the control room knew that Joy Behar had something else planned. She wasn't one to let a polite chat stay polite for too long. Joy smiled slyly, flipping her cue card. "Mark, you've said in the past that Hollywood's lost touch with ordinary people. Don't you think that's a little hypocritical? I mean, you live in Beverly Hills, right?" The tone dropped instantly. The audience chuckled awkwardly. Mark's smile froze just a bit. "Well, I don't think that's hypocritical. I worked hard for what I have. What I meant is that sometimes, people in our industry forget where they came from, and I never want to be that guy." Joy smirked. "Sure, but you're not exactly struggling to pay rent either, are you?" Whoopi shot Joy a warning glance. "Joy." Mark exhaled slowly, his tone still measured. "No, I'm not. But that doesn't mean I don't understand where people are coming from. I grew up in a working-class family in Boston. I've been at the bottom. That doesn't go away." Joy leaned in. "Yet here you are preaching humility on national TV while making millions off movies that glorify violence. How do you square that?" A ripple went through the audience, some gasps, some laughter. Mark blinked once, the calm fading from his face. "Joy," he said evenly, "I make movies to entertain people. I also do a lot off-camera, for kids, for communities, for faith projects. You don't know me, so don't assume what I stand for." The crowd applauded. Joy's smirk tightened. She wasn't expecting pushback that strong. "Relax, Mark," she said, chuckling. "It's just a question." He leaned forward slightly, eyes locked. "No, it's not just a question when you twist it like that. I came here to talk about my work, not to get lectured by someone who's never walked in my shoes." The studio grew silent. Whoopi tried to defuse it. Okay, let's take it down a notch." But Joy pressed on, her voice rising. "You're the one talking about staying grounded, Mark. Maybe practice what you preach?" That was it. Mark slowly removed his microphone, eyes still on Joy. "You know what? I don't need this." The audience gasped as he stood up. Whoopi reached out. "Mark, wait." He shook his head, firm. "I've done this too long to sit through someone's cheap shots for ratings. I'm out." He turned and walked off the stage as the cameras struggled to follow him. The crew scrambled, producers shouted through headsets, "Cut to commercial. Cut to commercial." The red light went off, and chaos filled the studio. The audience murmured in shock. Joy crossed her arms, her expression unreadable, but her eyes flickered with discomfort. Whoopi exhaled into the sudden silence. "We'll be right back," she said softly, and the screen faded to black. Behind the scenes, assistants and producers chased after Mark in the corridor. "Mark, please, can we talk about this?" He didn't slow down. "You knew what she was going to do. I'm not playing that game." He exited through the back doors, into the crisp New York air. Cameras outside caught a glimpse of him getting into a black SUV, jaw tight, refusing to speak to waiting reporters. Inside the studio, Joy sat back, defensive. "He overreacted," she muttered. "If he can't handle questions, maybe he shouldn't come on live TV." Whoopi glanced over at her, disappointed. "There's asking questions, and then there's pushing buttons. You know the difference." The show returned from commercial, but the mood was off. Whoopi had to steer it back on track, telling viewers, "Sometimes, live TV gets a little real. We respect Mark and wish him the best." But social media was already ablaze. Within minutes, clips of the exchange flooded Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Headlines appeared instantly: "Mark Wahlberg walks off The View after heated clash." "Joy Behar pushes too far." "The View chaos again." Fans were divided. Some sided with Mark, saying he handled himself with dignity until it went too far. Others defended Joy, arguing that tough questions come with the territory. By noon, Mark's team issued a short statement: "Mark Wahlberg remains committed to honest, respectful conversations. He will continue promoting his new film and connecting with audiences who value authenticity." Joy, meanwhile, brushed it off on air the next day. "Hey, it's The View. If people don't like a little honesty, they can watch cartoons." But her laughter didn't hide the awkwardness. Even her co-hosts looked uneasy. The producers were inundated with calls from ABC executives. The segment had gone viral, and while the ratings soared, the backlash was fierce. Outside, reporters hounded Mark's car the next morning as he arrived at his gym franchise headquarters. He stopped briefly, giving a calm but firm comment. "I respect journalists, real ones. But I don't respect disrespect." That clip became its own viral hit. Industry insiders whispered that Mark's walkout was one of the most talked-about moments on daytime TV that year, a power move that reminded everyone not all celebrities tolerate being cornered. Behind closed doors, ABC debated how to handle the fallout. One executive reportedly sighed, "We wanted sparks, not a firestorm." By the weekend, late-night comedians joked about it, but audiences kept rewatching the clip. Something about it felt raw, a rare unscripted moment in a world of pre-planned smiles. A week later, Mark appeared in another interview, this time a podcast, casual and open. "Look," he said, "I've done interviews for years. I can handle criticism. But when someone starts throwing shade for entertainment, I'm done. I walked away because respect matters more than airtime." The host nodded. "That's a rare stance these days." Mark smiled faintly. "Maybe. But I'd rather be real than rehearsed." That line became the quote of the week. Joy Behar, meanwhile, faced a wave of criticism from fans and fellow hosts. Some defended her, others said she'd crossed a line. Yet, as The View returned to its usual rhythm, the ghost of that argument lingered, a reminder of how quickly civility can collapse on live TV. Back in Boston, Mark's family and friends called him. "You did the right thing," one said. "Don't let them twist it." He replied simply, "I'm not angry. I'm just done with the nonsense." The View continued, rating stronger than ever. Controversy sells, but Joy seemed quieter for a while, her usual sarcasm tempered. Weeks later, when asked about the incident again, Whoopi said in an interview, "Mark handled himself like a pro. Live TV gets heated, but respect should always stay on the table." Her words resonated deeply. For Mark, life moved on. New projects, new roles, more success, but the moment he stood up on